Hey everyone, welcome back to another review here on the channel. Today we're taking a look at one of my favorite LEGO Star Wars, especially Clone War era sets. This is set number 75013, the Umbaran Mobile Heavy Cannon, or MHC. This was made a few years ago. I forget the exact year. It comes at about 493 pieces, so just shy under 500 parts. Comes with 4 minifigures and a really cool play-scaled version of the Umbaran Heavy Cannon. These 4 minifigures are actually all pretty sought after and pretty expensive in the aftermarket, which is pretty unique. Now, just a quick brief tour of the box art here. You can see it does have the green aesthetic with Yoda on the top right. Beautiful imagery of the Umbaran Heavy Cannon tank itself, of course, with the 4 minifigures and all the set information. On the back of the box, you can see here some really cool like grid style graphics here on the back, like sort of blueprint, if you will. There's some pretty cool pictures of all the different play features, of course, the cockpit, the legs, the cannon itself, which we will get into, of course, in today's video. Now, it is worth mentioning this set is retired. It's a few years old, so if you want to get this sealed, you're gonna probably be paying upwards of $120, $130. I was actually able to get this for a pretty good steal of only like $50, which is incredible for nowadays, considering that's pretty close to what it retailed for. But enough of that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about these 4 minifigures. Like I said, all 4 of them, the 3 different types of 4 minifigures, all of them are pretty sought after now in the aftermarket. First up here, we have Ahsoka Tano, a really cool Ahsoka. I'm not gonna lie, I do actually like this version of Ahsoka, probably among my favorite. Overall, love the accuracy, especially with the hair mold, how it's like sort of shorter and not too long like in their most recent AAT. The Ahsoka hair piece is super long and not entirely accurate. Ahsoka does come with 2 green lightsabers here, of course, staying consistent with the show. So really cool and accurate printing for both the torso and the pants. So nothing too incredible to talk about here, but the Ahsoka minifigure is actually worth like upwards of $25, $30 now, which is kind of crazy. Next year, we have what LEGO deems the 212th Clone Trooper, which I gotta say is not a 212th Clone Trooper. Number one, I don't know why we have a 212th here in a set that is clearly based off of the Umbaran arc from the Clone Wars, which has the 501st, Captain Rex. Not too sure why the 212th is here. Also, most notably, it is an animated version, which means it's different from the 212th we got in the Utapau Trooper Battle Pack. This is yellow, which I don't like at all. It's not accurate by any means. I understand it might be slightly more color confusing when you're looking at the Clone War TV show, but I don't see why they would make it yellow. Perhaps the only redeemable quality is that this minifigure is worth like $20 now, which is pretty insane, but not really a good minifigure for me. And then the last 2 minifigures here are going to be exclusive, as far as I'm aware, to this set here. We have the Umbaran Soldiers. Now, if you're making an Umbaran mock, these guys are going to be pretty much essential in whatever you're recreating. I love the accuracy. The only thing I would change is the visor. I feel like the visor should be like a green or neon green color, but other than that, beautiful minifigures. You have some great printing for like the armor and the chest plate on the torso. There is no printing on the legs, which I guess is a little disappointing, but being that this set is over, what, 6 or 7 years old, I'm not really going to hold a grudge against that. The actual headpiece itself sort of looks like a Thanos minifigure. It's like purple and has larger eyes. Overall, a pretty cool alien minifigure from Star Wars. Has a pretty cool helmet, again, with that visor. The visor doesn't move. It's pretty much fixed in position, which is cool. Now, if I had to go back and maybe change some of the minifigure selection, I would have maybe chosen an Anakin Skywalker and a 501st, or maybe even a Captain Rex or a Captain Rex and a 501st, but obviously I'm sure they had different plans and there's rhyme and reason behind what minifigures they included in the set. But with the minifigures out of the way, let's talk about the actual heavy cannon itself. First off, it is not minifigure scale, just to get that out there. It should be pretty obvious. In fact, if you wanted to build this entire thing in minifigure scale, it'd probably be about 2x2 or 4 square gray base plates. It's massive. It's a massive heavy cannon in the Clone Wars, but honestly, I think LEGO did a pretty good job recreating it in a very iconic and small scale. The biggest thing that stands out to me is the top missile launcher. Of course, it does have hinges, so you can move it up and down and swivel it around in 360. Of course, it does have that bionicle sort of missile shooter, so all you have to do is pull that back, missile launchers forward. Either of the sides actually has these longer sort of wedge plates with some stickers, which sort of try to cover and make it look a little bit more realistic instead of just having like this big Lego bionic technical cannon here just to throw it off. Moving here towards the cockpit, you can see here there is a little 2x2 sort of translite blue shield. Of course, it's the dome where you can actually house the troopers themselves or the pilots. You could totally retract that entire panel and put your minifigure in there. You can see here there's some pretty cool control panels on either side. You can also enter the cockpit from the back area for the secondary driver. This is just a spot for, I guess, storing the second Umbaran driver, or just the Umbaran trooper, or whoever it may be, just someone sitting back there getting ready to deploy, I guess, whenever the heavy cannon gets into some trouble. Front is equally and a very aesthetically pleasing. You have 3 of these 1x1 trans clear round tiles that of course simulates like the flashing lights and like the floodlights coming from the front of the heavy cannon. As you move towards the bottom, there's actually a pretty easy way to control the 360 swivel. You can see here there's a little knob. You can sort of swivel that around, and the top gun will also go in 360, which is a nice easy play feature. You can also reach it from the back too, so if you're ever playing with it, you can reach your hand right under there. You can move the actual turret itself fairly easily, which is a nice play feature. What I love about the heavy cannon is the sides, especially the detailing and the stickers. It has these sort of round dish pieces, which you have stickers on, but of course it does look really, really nice once you put them on correctly. There are some like eyes to simulate like the animal or like the creature, the monster, like coming out of the Umbaran forest, which is super cool. It does have a color palette of pretty much like a dark navy blue and then a light bluish gray, which does look super cool. And then there are some larger 2x4 styled stickers here on the sides just to give it a little bit more of a clean aesthetic, some buttons, a cool logo, and just overall making this construction of the tank pretty nice. And the last thing about the tank is of course the 6 legs, which are like sort of like the iconicness of the heavy cannon. There's basically 3 connected joints in each part of the leg, and they can swivel around. They don't go up and down, but you can of course pose the legs in different positions. So if you want to have it more spread out, you can certainly do that. I personally have it in the straight upright position. This just gives it the most room to be standing up and such. There are 6 legs, 3 of them on either side. It's a pretty sturdy thing. Of course, you can spread the legs out to make it look a little bit more circular and to give it a little bit of a wider base of support. And then just to give you guys a quick understanding of how large the tank is, there's a minifigure so you can see it's not that large. It's certainly large enough to capture all of the iconic details and the really cool functions of course, the actual heavy cannon in the series. But if you're someone who's going to prioritize, ooh, I want this minifigure scale, it's probably not going to be a set you want to go ahead and buy. But I think for what it's worth, I think LEGO knocked it out of the park with this one. This is one of my favorite Clone Wars era sets of all time, and I'm really happy I was finally able to have it built and going to be displaying it right behind me. I'm probably going to sell the minifigures, to be honest, because they're so expensive now. But that just about wraps up everything I have important to say about this Clone Wars Umbaran Mobile Heavy Cannon MHC. Let me know down below in the comments, do you guys have this set when it came out? Do you want it? Do you not have it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know what you guys thought of today's review. Of course, drop a like down below. Make sure you subscribe for more content coming very soon. I'll see you later. Take it easy. Peace.